One time, Muʿādh ibn Jabal radiallahu anh, a companion of the Prophet ﷺ, he asked the Prophet ﷺ, he said to him, "Tell me of an action that will take me to Jannah and protect me from the Hellfire." So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "لَقَدْ سَأَلْتَ عَنْ عَظِيمٍ." You've asked me about a great matter. Then the Prophet ﷺ, he listed the 5 pillars of Islam. And then he mentioned other actions like tahajjud. And he mentioned things like spending from what Allah has given us. And then he said, "Shall I not tell you of the foundation of all of that?" Meaning the root of all of that. Mu'adh, he said, "Yes, Ya Rasulullah, of course." So the Prophet ﷺ, he took hold of his tongue like this, and he said, "Kuffa alayka hadha." Restrain this. Meaning be very careful of the words that you choose to say. Now when the Prophet ﷺ, he said that, Mu'adh was visibly very shocked. And so he asked the Prophet ﷺ, "Will we really be responsible for the words that we say?" And so the Prophet ﷺ, he responded with a very powerful saying in Arabic, which goes to the effect of, "Is that really even a question, ya Mu'adh? Like, are you serious? Of course." And then the Prophet ﷺ, he said, وَهَلْ يَكُبُّ النَّاسَ عَلَى وُجُوهِهِمْ إِلَّا حَصَائِدُ أَلْسِنَتِهِمْ. Is there anything that throws people into the hellfire upon their faces except what their tongues produce? This is the reality. Your tongue alone is a limb that can lead you to the hellfire. Yes, it's small in size, but its effects can be catastrophic. And sometimes it can be silently catastrophic. In another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, وَإِنَّ الْعَبْدَ لَيَتَكَلَّمُ بِالْكَلِمَةِ مِنْ سَخَطِ اللَّهِ. Verily, a servant may speak a word that is displeasing to Allah. لَا يُلْقِي لَهَا بَالًا. Thinking nothing of it. He thinks it's something that's insignificant. يَهْوِي بِهَا فِي جَهَنَّمْ. Yet it throws him into the depths of the hellfire. It could literally be something that you say in a moment of anger, or a moment of revenge, or a moment of mockery, or a moment where you don't have knowledge about a matter but you speak anyway. And it leads you to the worst of consequences. You might say something that you think is completely harmless, but that one thing turns out to be big in the eyes of Allah, and so it leads you to the hellfire. And that's why treating our words with great care and treating them as even part of our actions is incredibly important. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. There's not a single word that a human being utters except that there's an angel that's recording that word. Our words are recorded because they're counted as actions, as deeds. Many people, they think that actions or deeds are restricted to things like giving charity, or helping other people, or going to the mosque, or praying, fasting, so on and so forth. But really, every single word that you say counts as a deed, either for us or against us. And that's why the scholars, they say, مَنْ عَدَّ كَلَامَهُ مِنْ عَمَلِهِ قَلَّ كَلَامُهُ إِلَّا فِي مَا يَعْنِي. Whoever counts his speech, imagine, whoever counts literally word by word as part of his actions and deeds, you'll find that that person reduces their speech and only speaks in matters that concern him. Truly, if you wholeheartedly believed that every single word that comes out of your mouth will count for you or against you, and you realize truly that these words can have serious consequences, you would be very careful with the words that you choose to say. No wonder why Umar ibn Khattab said, مَا نَدِمْتُ عَلَى سُكُوتِي مَرَّةً. I've never regretted my silence even once. وَلَكِنْ نَدِمْتُ عَلَى الْكَلَامِ مِرَارًا. I've regretted my speech many, many times. So when he doesn't speak, he's never regretted that. But when he speaks, he's regretted it many, many times. In fact, one time Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, he came to the Prophet ﷺ crying whilst he was holding his tongue like this. And when the Prophet ﷺ saw him crying and holding his tongue like this in a state of stress, he said, "Stop, may Allah forgive you. What's going on? Why are you doing that?" And then Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, he said, هَذَا أَوْرَدَنِي الْمَوَارِدِ. This has brought me to dangerous places. Look at this concern that the companions of the Prophet ﷺ had to the words that they used to say with their tongue. And so likewise, me and you need to do the same. We have to strive to practice long periods of silence, unless there's a reason to speak. And if you do speak, then that speech should also be goodness as well. So the default for a Muslim is that they are silent. And if they need to speak because of a matter, someone's spoken to them or someone's asked for advice or whatever have you, then you speak. But whenever you do speak, then you speak goodness. And this is all based on a couple of hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. One of them where he says, and you all know this, مَنْ كَانَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا أَوْ لِيَصْمُتْ. Whoever believes in Allah and the last day, let him speak goodness or remain silent. And in the second hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, مَنْ صَمَتَ نَجَى. Whoever is silent, he is saved. Meaning they don't just speak about everything and anything. And so hopefully at this point, the importance of looking after your tongue should be very clear. And it should also be very clear just how important this program that you guys have started right now is. Because it teaches you exactly what not to do with your tongue. Now this program is based on the Mauritanian poem known as Maharim al-Lisan. And it's inshallah going to teach you very, very comprehensively all the prohibitions of the tongue. And there's things in this program that are going to shock you. Because you're going to realize that many of the prohibitions have been normalized in society today. And most Muslims do them. But you might also realize that there's things that you might potentially be saying which are haram and you never realized that they were haram too. And so I need you guys to pay attention. And I need you guys to apply everything that you learn. And I also need you guys to look for any and every opportunity to spread what you're learning. Because in this book, in this program that we're studying, are things that the ummah needs and they don't even realize that they're making these mistakes that you're about to learn. And I can guarantee you, inshallah, because the Prophet ﷺ guaranteed, if you can apply everything in this program, then you have a very, very beautiful outcome. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, مَنْ يَضْمَنْ لِي مَا بَيْنَ لَحْيَيْهِ وَمَا بَيْنَ رِجْلَيْهِ أَضْمَنْ لَهُ الْجَنَّةِ. Whoever can guarantee the chastity of what is between his jaws and what is between his legs, then I can guarantee for that person Jannah. Meaning, if you guys stay away from zina, and you stay away from these prohibitions of the tongue, inshallah for you is guaranteed Jannah because the Prophet ﷺ said it. So with that said, we can now get started inshallah. The way it's going to work is we're going to split the prohibitions into categories because there's something like 70 that's mentioned in this program. So what I've done is I've organized them for you into categories so we can break them down one by one.